The U.S. President Donald Trump on September 23rd at the UN General Assembly 2025 in New York spoke about the failure of the UN, warned about the green energy movement, and the wars in Europe and the Middle East. Trump said the UN has failed in its mission of maintaining international peace and security and offered the U.S. leadership in forging a safer and prosperous world. He said he has stopped 7 wars because these countries had approached him for help instead of the UN.
In a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. No other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them.
Trump warned that green energy is a scam with failed predictions from UN climate change experts in the past, and nations who adopt the green energy movement would fail. He said while Europe has reduced its carbon emission, households have to pay 4 to 5 times more, and many have lost their jobs to China, who is the largest producer of green energy equipments. He also said that Europe has made progress in reducing carbon emission, but China continues to be the largest carbon emitter while producing green energy equipment.
In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global catastrophe. He said that it will be irreversible as any nuclear holocaust would be. This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said global cooling will kill the world. Then they said global warming will kill the world, but then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change because that way they can't miss. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. The carbon footprint is a hoax. It's a con job. At extreme cost and expense, Europe reduced its own carbon footprint by 37%. Think of that. Congratulations, Europe. Great job. You cost yourself a lot of jobs, a lot of factories closed, but you reduced the carbon footprint by 37%. However, for all of that sacrifice and much more, it's been totally wiped out and then some by a global increase of 54%. Much of it coming from China and other countries that are thriving around China, which now produces more CO2 than all the other developed nations in the world. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China and 2 to 3 times higher than the United States.
Trump has been using diplomacy to end the war by engaging in talks with both Russia and Ukraine, including hosting a summit with Putin in Alaska, but with no success. Trump told the assembly that China and India are the 2 largest buyers of Russian oil that is funding Russia's war against Ukraine, and Trump has called on NATO members to stop buying oil from Russia.
They've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides every single week, from 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people. and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures. Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. But they have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations.
Trump said that Hamas has repeatedly rejected offers of peace and called for Hamas' immediate release of the remaining 20 Israeli hostages, believed to be still alive, taken during the October 23, 2023 attack.
Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now.